name's Doug McCusker, and welcome to my poker blog. Normally, I just jump into an introduction and go right into the poker. This time, I'm just going to take a few minutes to talk about something that's dear to my heart. I've been running kind of salty so far this year and been whining and complaining about it, and I figure I have absolutely no right to whine and complain, especially with all the stuff that's going on in Ukraine right now. People over in Ukraine right now are getting killed. Their lives are getting destroyed. They're being forced to flee from their homes. The Russian army is being very brutal to the civilians there. I don't even think that the Russian soldiers actually know what's going on. They're just following some orders from the people above them. But needless to say, things are horrendous there. What I am going to be doing is I'm going to do what I can to help support the refugees from Ukraine. My wife and I decided that we're going to be donating some funds. My wife is researching the best charity to give money to that has the least amount of leakage, so that the most of every dollar goes directly towards the people that need it. She's very good at that, so that's why I put it in her court. I also forgot to mention that my wife and I are also looking into providing temporary housing for Ukrainian refugees. Some have started to arrive in the Sacramento area. There is a local church there that is trying to find homes for them, temporary housing for them, until they get situated. So I think that's something that we could do. We have a fairly large house and some extra rooms, so we figure we'll put them to use.
If necessary, I'll accept any other animal in my bed, even a cat. Well, I can't promise, how the cat will be in the morning. You know I am a dog, right?
I'm also going to try to encourage you to give if you can. Poker players in general are very generous, and whether you want to call it luck insurance or a good karma, I encourage you to give if you can. And for those of you that can't, I know that everything is costing more nowadays. I'll tell you what I'll do. If you, for every new sub I get, and that likes, subscribes, and comments down below with like a pro-Ukrainian comment, I will donate for you. So I figure $1 for each new sub would be good. So if I get 200 new subs, that's $200 I'll be donating. If I get 1,000, I'll donate 1,000. If I get 5,000, I'll donate 5,000. So whether you're on the fence about the vlog or not, hit that subscribe button and know that because of that, you're helping out some Ukrainian family through probably the most difficult time of their lives. So with that being said, if any of you want to hit me up at the card room and like to make a personal donation, I'll make sure that 100% of that will get directly to the charity that my wife finds. Anyway, for now, let's go see some poker. So sit back, relax, enjoy. Here it comes. We're back at Capital Casino here in Sacramento, California, buying for $500 into the 1-3 game. It doesn't take us too long before we pick up a hand. A player from middle positions opens for 15. A player to his left puts in the call, and I look at 9-8 suited, decided this is a pretty good spot to put in a big raise, see if we can get away with this and get a aggressive image going. So we raise to 70, and everybody folds. So we take down this small pot with 9 high. Next interesting hand, we have ace-queen offsuit on the button. There's a $6 straddle. I make it 25. It gets folded around to the straddler, who's a fairly aggressive player and never believes me, so he puts in the call. Flop comes out ace-9-5, all rainbow, so he checked it over to me. I am going to be betting a little bit larger with this opponent because he likes to call me down. So I make it 40, and he doesn't take too long before putting in the call. So with 134 in the pot, we get to see a turn card of a 2 of diamonds. Now, when he called me on the flop, I figured he might have an ace with a weak kicker. So he either has the ace of spades or an ace of diamonds. And if he has the ace of diamonds, there's a chance he has a flush draw now. And I don't want to give him a cheap draw at it. So I am going to make a pot size bet. If he is sticky as I think he is, he's going to be calling me down. And if he doesn't, if he has, say, like an ace of spades with a weak kicker, he's probably going to end up folding. So I don't mind either way. I'll take the pot now. But if he wants to draw, and if he has a flush draw, he's going to be paying for it. He goes in the tank for quite some time before saying that I probably flopped 2 pair or something, and he folds, and we take down this first pot of the day. Well, it seems like we're picking up big hands on the button. This time I got ace-king suited. There is a middle position player who opens for a raise to 15, and I made it 45. I really should be going a little bit bigger here, 55 to 60, but that's what I did. I went 45. The big blind now tanks and finally puts in the call. It looked like he wanted to raise or was thinking about putting in a raise. So I'm kind of, narrowing his range to, big pocket pairs like, or medium-sized pocket pairs, like maybe nines, tens, jacks, maybe even queens. Maybe he has ace king himself. The other player also puts in the call. So we're going to end up going 3 ways to this flop. Now, I'm looking to definitely hit an ace or a king, but I got the second best thing. Flop comes 6, deuce, 10 with 2 diamonds. So I'm a little concerned that the opponent in the big blind might have pocket 10s because that's definitely in his range. He might have something like jacks or queens also. But with 2 overs and the nut flush draw, I am not going to be slowing down. So I put out a fairly chunky bet for $80. Now, as most of you know, I like to make smaller C bets, but in this case, I figure a larger C bet would be fine because I have so much equity. Player on the big blind thinks for a moment, and then he decides to put in the call. So when he does, I'm thinking that he definitely has a hand like an overpair, or maybe he flopped a set of tens. Not quite sure which one. It's really hard to put him on any other type of hand at this point. If he has diamonds, what kind of diamonds would he be playing? Queen jack, jack 10? Anyway, the turn card comes as a 7 of clubs. So it puts out a straight possibility, but again, he either has a set of tens or an overpair in my mind, and he checks it over to me. Now here I'm debating whether I can get him to fold an overpair. I didn't think I could, so I checked it back to try to realize my equity, and the river card comes as a queen of spades. I figured if he had a set of tens, he would try to bet out for value. If he has a hand like queens, he would bet out for value. If he has jacks, he would check it over to me. And my idea was that if the river card came ace, king, or queen, and he checked it to me, that I was going to bet. So I make a half pot size bet. I figured that would be something I would do if I was going for value. Thinking back on it, I think maybe I need to go larger to try to pressure him with a hand like pocket jacks. Anyway, he tanks for a little while before announcing that he's going to call. And I say I only have ace high, and he rolls over 2 black jacks. So my read was good, my execution was not. I got a late start filming this. The player in the +1 opens for a raise to 8. I make it 30. He puts in the call, and we go heads up to a flop, which comes queen, 8, deuce, rainbow. He checked it to me. I decided to check this one back a little bit for deception. The turn card comes, and it's a blank. It's a 6 of diamonds. So I feel very comfortable with my hand, especially when he checks it over to me. I figure I'll try to get a little value out of him right now. So I decided to bet 40. I'm thinking he might have a medium-sized pocket pair that he's calling with, and maybe he has an 8 that he might want to call down with. Don't think he has a queen. I feel pretty confident about that. Turn card comes as a 7 of diamonds. I'm a little bit concerned that he might have had something like 9-10 suited and turned a double gutter and is willing to come along. But when he checks to me, it feels like he's weak, and I probably go a little bit too big here with my river sizing. I was trying to make it look a little bit bluffy, so if he had a hand to call me down with, he would just call off. He did count out the chips and then decided that he didn't want to put them in. Anyway, I think if I used a smaller sizing, I definitely would have got a call off of him on the end. Look down at ace-jack suited from +1, open for a raise to 15. Get a caller from a player directly on my left, and it gets folded back around to the player who was in the big blind. He's fairly conservative, and so when he puts in a raise to 45, the alarm bells are going off. I haven't seen him do this with a weak hand, and so I'm thinking he might have a better ace, he might have a pocket pair, but with ace-jack suited for $30 more, I cannot let that go. It's just too good of a price for me to continue. Heading off to a flop 3 ways with 136 in the pot. We see an interesting flop. I mean, flop does come jack high, but there are 2 diamonds and a possible straight on board. So I'm a little concerned, especially when my opponent does not slow down and puts out a fairly chunky size bet. So $80 I have to call. I do have top pair. He could be doing this with a flush draw. He could have an overpair. It's probably not a great idea to be calling down this type of player with just top pair, even though I have an ace kicker. But I do, and we get to see a turn card of a 6 of diamonds. So not the greatest turn card in the world. It does put up the flush draw. He checked it over. I'm happy to check it back and try to get the showdown. River card comes as a deuce of diamonds. He checks it again, and I check it back. He rolls over ace-jack suited, and we had a little chuckle. He's probably at the bottom of his range when he raised with that hand. Player in the low jack opens up a raise for 20. I have ace-jack offsuit. In the cutoff, I should be 3-betting or folding this hand. Instead, I call. So bad play on my part for just calling at this point. Yeah, I'm not playing my greatest right now. So we end up going 3 ways to a flop. And the flop comes out ace, queen, 10, rainbow. So not a bad flop for ace-jack. There's a lot of big aces I am behind. First person checks the initial raiser, puts in a bet. And now I'm in the tough spot. He bet out 50. Is my hand worth $50? I don't know. Probably not. And he could be doing this quite light. The other player folds out, and we get to see a turn card of a 3 of clubs. This time he checks it over to me. And I'm not quite sure what's going on, whether he's trapping or not, but I think I'm just going to go for value on the river if he checks again. River card comes as a 5 of diamonds, complete blank. He decides to check again, and I figure maybe my hand is strong enough. Maybe he has a hand like king-queen that he might call off, or an ace with a weaker kicker. So I'd go for $60 for value. He quickly calls and says he has 2 pair as he rolls over ace-10. Ouch. I took down a lot of suited connected hands like this one where I'd have put in a raise, I'll get a call, and the flop would miss my opponent and I would fire into them and they would just give up. All these little pots add up. All right, the player who beat me with the pocket jacks ran up his stack to a pretty good size, and now he is just throwing money away after taking a few bad beats. He's been raising and going all in on like the last 5 or 6 hands, and everyone's just waiting to take a crack at him. Here I am with ace-king offsuit. I decided to limp in with his $6 straddle just because I know he's going to most likely just shove all in. And that's what he does. He has a little over $200 and he shoves all in, hoping to catch someone else making a weak call with some sort of ace, but it's folded to me, so I put in the money and we get to go see a run out. And instead of me talking about the run out, I'm just going to let you listen to it because it's interesting table talk. So I'll shut up now and here you go.
What you got?
No, I don't know. I'm not watching. What do you have?
Huh?
I called you. That's
You show one card.
Which one?
Left side.
My left or your left?
Chips.
Oh,
Poker King.
yeah, it's not looking too good. Now she got 4 or 5.
You take a video?
Yeah,
Yeah, he has a blow. I'm right.
It's an awesome one.
you can be
That's
famous. You can be famous.
infamous for sure.
Deuce.
Just no slow roll.
Do the 4 for the one time. 4. Okay, the next one's the 4.
You still have to be the king.
I'm gonna lose my shit if it's a
Yeah,
4.
remember this is pie guy.
He
I mean, not pie
he
guy,
didn't
pie
get it.
guy.
He didn't get it.
Okay.
He's done.
Ah.
All right.
Oh, man.
I only bingo one pair. It's done, right?
Yeah, you win with one pair.
I had a 7. I had king 7.
So after a couple early limpers, like look down at ace queen offsuit, raise to 20. It gets folded back to the player in +1 position who puts in the call. He has a rather short stack, maybe about $150 left in front of him. The other players fold out, and we go heads up to a flop with $47 in the pot. Flop is a pretty good one. It comes queen high with 2 hearts. So my opponent leads right out into me, which is a good sign. It means that he might have a queen. If not, he probably has something like a heart draw. So he bets out. I'm not going to chase him off of anything right now. I'll just put in the call. He has a very short stack. I expect all his chips to get in the pot sooner or later. Turn card comes is an ace of clubs. Not a good card if he had a queen, but it's a good card to bluff at. And he shoves all his chips in. I put in the quick call. See a run out. Just trying to dodge a heart at this point. River card comes as a 6 of diamonds. He doesn't look like he's too happy, so I just show my hand and take down this medium-sized pot. A late start on filming. Player opens for 10. I make it 40. Player in the big blind calls the 40. The other player folds out. So we're going to go heads up to a flop with $81 in the pot. Flop comes out 6, 8, 9, all diamonds. So not a very good flop for my particular hand. When check 2, I decided to put in a C bet for $25, trying to get someone to fold out a lone diamond. Player puts in the call. Turn card comes as a 3 of hearts. If he had a bigger stack, I would probably go for some pot control. But with a short stack, I decided just to jam it. Probably going to be calling off anyway if he fires the river on a blank. Anyway, this is what happened.
Wow, you must have me. Did you really?
5, 7, 9s? Full house? Oh, flush.
Perfect flop.
So the Hold'em guys felt bad about that one, so they gave me aces again right away. And being under the gun, I opened for a ace of 15. Everyone folds except for the small and the big blind. Both of them are pretty good action players, so I don't mind seeing a flop with them. Flop comes out 8, 9 deuce rainbow. So kind of hits their range, doesn't really hit mine. I decided to bet it $20 when check 2, and the player in the small blind puts in the quick call. The other player folds. Player in the small blind checks in the dark. I'm thinking he has some sort of draw. 5 of clubs comes up, and I'm thinking, does he have a jack 10 or does he have the 6-7? I don't know. I decided to put in a small bet because I hate giving a free card to someone who's drawn. And he checked again in the dark. And this time I check it back. I'm thinking I can't beat anything in that range that he would be calling with. And sure enough, he turned the nut straight with a backdoor flush draw on the turn. I'm lucky to get away with this with only a small loss. All right, I'm going to stay away from aces from now on. Just play these king-queen suiteds. There was a bunch of limpers. I raised a 15 and I get 2 callers. So we'll go 3 ways to a flop that comes out 9, 7, king with 2 diamonds. The king and 9 of diamonds. It's check to me. I bet out 20. One player folds and the other one puts in a quick call, but he did like a little tell by putting in a little extra chips and then kind of like dragging them back. Usually that's a sign of strength and maybe even of a draw. So I'm thinking he might have a big draw at this point. I thought maybe he has something like jack 10 of diamonds, a straight draw and a double gutter. Anyway, he checks. I figure I got to charge for the draw, so I bet, and he quickly calls. River card comes now is the queen of spades, and I'm thinking, oh my, that jack 10 just came in. And he checks to me again. With top 2 pair, I think I have to put out a bet, and I decided to go a little bit on the larger size, trying to make it look like maybe I have a miss flush draw, and maybe he'll pay me off with a king. don't know. If I get checked raised in this spot, it's going to be awful, awful, and I'm probably going to have to fold it if I get check raised, depending on the size of the bet, because in my mind I was thinking Jack 10 was a possibility, like a Jack 10 of diamonds. He does turn over Queen 10 of diamonds, so he flopped the world and missed everything except for a pair of queens on the end. And now he's trying to determine whether I have something like a king, because if I was betting a draw or betting a 9, maybe he has me beat at this point. After replaying the hand out loud at the table, he decides that there's probably a high likelihood that he is beat, and he reluctantly ends up letting his hand go, and we take down this last pot of the night. Happy to only lose a little bit for the day. I think that my play was okay. I would probably give myself a B for my play. I think some of my raise sizing was too small, and some of my aggression was mistimed. So for the day, I was in for 500, out for 450, so a $50 loss. Not so bad. Anyway, really appreciate you guys making it to the end, and thank you for supporting the channel. And I hope you support the efforts in Ukraine right now and help out those Ukrainian families that need the most help. Until next time, good luck at the tables, and we'll see you soon.